Hi there, I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I am the self-government lady, and we're going to be answering the question today, what is self-government? This is the self-government channel. So how do you teach self-government? What is it? How can you apply it into your life? That's what we're talking about today. In this video, we're going to talk about what self-government is, what self-government does, maybe even kind of how it differs from other types of communication or parenting, and what tone and structure are required in order to make self-government a success in your life. Years ago, when my older children were just toddlers, I took in troubled teens because my husband went back to school and we needed some extra income. And I thought, well, I don't want to leave my babies, so maybe I can take in some other babies. They weren't really babies. They were between the ages of 12 and 18 years old. And we did treatment foster care for these youth for a lot of years. And as I started teaching them and preparing my home, I thought, I don't want to just teach them behavior modification. So I got trained a lot in my preparation for taking them into my home about behavior modification tactics, but I wanted it to be more than just behavior modification. I wanted them to have a change of heart. So I decided if I could teach them to truly want to master themselves, to love mastering themselves, to love governing themselves, then they could have a heart change that might last them their entire lives. I wanted to make an impact for good for them in those dark hours of adulthood later when there was no parent around to help. I wanted them to have skills for success. So I decided to teach them self-government. What is self-government? So if you look self-government up in a dictionary, it's going to maybe talk about forms of government. So it might say something like, okay, well, a government structure where the people are in charge of themselves. And that's true, right? Because you could talk about a home government, right? The family government. Each person's taking responsibility for themselves. Some people might think that self-government is synonymous with autonomy. And that's not exactly true. It's not you just being you and out for you, because when you're self-governed, you're very aware that you're part of a group, you're part of a family, you are united with other people, that what you do does impact the other people around you, the environment around you, that you have a purpose and that you can create positive change in the world based on your ability to control yourselves. It's actually based on a historical model of all the great people in the history who have created positive change in the world. If you look at their lives, you can see that they controlled themselves first. That's what gave them the power to help inspire others to create positive change in their lives as well. It's non-controlling of your environment around you. It's you deciding to turn that controlling, maybe bent or nature or whatever, on yourself and saying, I'm going to stop controlling all the other people in my life. Instead, I'm going to control myself, and then I'm going to learn skills that go along with that, and then I'll teach my children and other people in their lives how to do the same thing. This will inspire them to make a positive and empowering change in their own lives. So my definition of self-government is being able to determine the cause and effect of any given situation and possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So that's two different things. That means that you understand cause and effect. That is how we learn. That's how we problem solve. That's how our prefrontal cortex of the brain develops, is by understanding cause and effect. So that's number one. And number two, possessing a knowledge of your own behaviors so that you can control them. So what does that mean? That means that you constantly analyze yourself. Do you know that is one of the most painful things that a person can ever do? But a self-governed person sees that self-analysis as liberating, as moving toward the next version that's even better of themselves. It's freeing. It's not disappointing. If you find a problem, you can fix it. That's what liberation means. That's what freedom means. Not wallowing in your problems and justifying it. With self-government, there's no room for excuses. People who are not self-governing make excuses for their behavior all the time. They blame other people. They blame different circumstances instead of just going, yep, I did that. That was wrong. And making the change that's required. So now let's talk about what self-government does and how we can get it instituted into our homes and our lives for good. So self-government leads to the most freedom possible, but also self-government creates leaders. Self-government is the hallmark of a great leader. So people talk nowadays about teaching their children leadership, and you know what they do? They say, you decide, you decide, you decide. You tell us what to do. You take on this project and you lead it. But that isn't actually how a leader is made. Sure, a person has to learn how to problem solve some things on their own, and they have to learn how to apply their skills into real life. But if someone is never taught enough skills in the first place, those types of activities or simulations just overwhelm them. If a person is going to really lead out, they need to have been trained by a leader. And who is the greatest leader in their lives? The ones that they will follow even if the person isn't a good leader? Their parents. So hopefully you're working on your own self-government. That is the kind of bad news that a lot of parents find when they start learning self-government. They say, yes, I want to teach my children self-government. And they start taking the Teaching Self-Government Parenting course. And then they'll say to me, oh, Nicholeen, I just realized I'm going to have to govern myself if I'm going to teach my children self-government. And I say, yes, but the good news is you don't have to be perfect at your own self-government in order to teach your children self-government. You just need to be in the process of governing yourself. You need to know what it is, you need to know the direction you're going, and you need to be doing it for yourself. You don't have to be perfect yet. But if you are in the process of self-governing, then you are leading. People who make excuses don't lead anybody anywhere. People who take responsibility for themselves and who acknowledge their duty and their role in the lives of the other people around them and master themselves, those people are the leaders. And your children need to have a lot of time with you, seeing you in action, leading yourself and leading them, teaching them the skills that they need. Then they will learn self-government too. So what does self-government do? It changes the world. It literally changes the world. That's my goal. Nothing major. Just have a big world shift. And you know what? I could get kind of emotional about this, but I started teaching this stuff because people asked me years ago, Nicholeen, how are these kids changing in your house? How about you come and talk at our PTA group, at our support group, at our church group? Come talk to us and tell us what self-government is and tell us how to parent our children, because clearly you're doing something that we don't know. And I thought, okay, I'll go help people. I'll go help make the world a better place maybe. And so I started making the world a better place. And I have literally been all over the world. People have had me teach this stuff everywhere. And I thought, well, I'll just do what's required for the time it takes. I know now it's never going to end. And that's because this movement to master yourself and to teach your children self-mastery is contagious. People want to know more and more. They're finding the freedom that comes of being able to accept a no answer and not rage in traffic. And so they want their child to be able to accept a no answer and not rage because they didn't get a cookie or couldn't go to the party. They see the freedom that comes. They're passing it on to their friends. They're sharing it and they're changing. People are becoming the best, strongest versions of themselves. They're leading out in ways they never could before because they're self-governing. That's what this does. It changes the world. I was one lady that changed my heart and my behaviors and changed the hearts and behaviors of my foster children and my children, and it has just rippled ever since. You have that power and that influence inside of you as well. In order to create an environment where a person can learn self-government, it requires two factors. A certain kind of structure, which is like your skills and the way that you're going to handle the problems, and then a certain kind of a tone, which is how it's going to feel while you're handling those problems. Is it going to be united? Is it going to be bonded? I actually have a book called Parenting a House United. That's probably what I'm most known for all over the world, is that book. because people want their homes and their families to be united. That's the tone. The tone is loving. The tone is merciful, forgiving, understanding, open-minded, but confident and firm and loving and calm, especially calm. How is your calmness? Because for a person to master self-government, they have to master their calmness. Since you've been listening to this video and learning about self-government, I want to give you a free gift. I have a Calm Parenting Toolkit. It's a course, and it doesn't take too long to go through, but it is packed with information about self-government, about skills, and about how to help yourself stay calm when somebody else isn't, how to help them become calm without losing your calmness at the same time. This Calm Parenting Toolkit is down in the description of this video. Click the link that's there, go get the Calm Parenting Toolkit, and get on the road to self-government. No more excuses. Just take deliberate action. That's what a self-governed person does.